Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. So I thought it's been such a long time since we had a proper catch up. There's been many things that's been going through in my life for the past, I would say, few months. And so I think it's time for me to have a sit down and have a proper catch up with you guys. I've actually been putting off making this video for a very long time. I just wanted to be in the right state of mind because life gets in the way and things get busy, but that's life, right? I know for some time now I've always wanted to share the best bits of my life because I thought as viewers you probably don't want to be bogged down by my random ramblings about work stress or whatever. But behind the scenes, behind every YouTube channel, we are all humans and there's been loads happening in my life that I would like to talk about. So first up, the biggest news I would like to share with you guys is that I finally finished my dermatology training and can call myself a fully fledged dermatologist. Woo! Thank God. It's definitely been a long process and I have to say I didn't fully grasp or understand when I first started, but I'm glad I went through it. You know, when you're in the thick of training, you don't always appreciate how much you're learning until you come out from the other side. And honestly, there were moments in life when I was thinking to myself, what on earth am I doing with my life when everyone else is relaxing and I'm here studying and training? And actually, it's worth the wait and patience. And here's another piece of exciting news. I've managed to get a Mohs fellowship lined up after I finish my training, and so I will be leaving Glasgow for a new adventure. For those of you who are starting out in dermatology and are not familiar with Mohs surgery, it's actually a specialized type of skin surgery where we try to preserve as much normal skin tissue as possible whilst removing skin cancers from cosmetically important sites like around the eyes, the nose, the lips and ears. And the interesting thing about being a Mohs surgeon is that you not only treat the patient by removing the skin cancer and reconstructing the final defect, you are also the pathologist yourself. So you'll be analyzing the specimens that you remove under the microscope and see, for example, how much it's been removed by and whether it's completely removed. I'll be starting my Mohs fellowship in August this year, and hopefully I'll be spending as much time as I possibly can seeing lots and lots of skin cancer referrals, doing lots of skin surgery, reconstruction, as well as interpreting the histology slides. I'm genuinely quite excited about this because it's something that I've always wanted to do but just didn't get the chance during my training. And I have to say it's so surreal that I managed to get this fellowship. And I hope that with me sharing my story and my experience, I can show that if I can do it, so can you. Nothing is impossible as long as you put in the time, the effort in working hard and pursuing your dreams. Now, there's something else that I've got going on, and I'm going to sound completely mad for saying this, but I'm also doing a master's in skin aging and aesthetic medicine from the University of Manchester. I know, more studying, but hear me out. So this is actually a self-directed learning course where it's aimed at healthcare professionals who want to get a deeper understanding of cosmetic dermatology based on the current evidence. It's mainly online theoretical learning with some supported workshops and practical sessions, and this actually works quite well with my schedule as a full-time doctor. The reason why I'm doing this is because we don't often get much teaching in cosmetic dermatology such as injectables, lasers and chemical peels in our dermatology training. I think this isn't unique to the UK, and from speaking with colleagues from Asia and other parts of Europe, they have very limited training in this field as well. In aesthetic medicine, pretty much anyone can do it. You don't even need to be a doctor to practice aesthetics. And so there isn't a very clear path if you want to excel in it. A lot of people I know, medics and non-medics, they take on a few courses like 1-day course or 2-day course. Some of them may even schedule established practitioners in order to gain some learning. So this industry can be quite unregulated and a little bit like the Wild Wild West if you think about it, because anyone can start practicing aesthetics. The reason why I'm doing this master's course is so that I can get some formal training in order to learn proper techniques to provide a holistic care for my patients. So for example, in dermatology, I see a lot of patients with inflammatory skin conditions like acne and rosacea. In dermatology, we often treat the inflammatory component of these conditions with tablets such as antibiotics and even isotretinoin or Roaccutane. And sometimes after treating these patients, they are left with other issues like scarring, erythema, and rhinophyma from severe rosacea, which we have very little treatments for in the NHS. And the thing is, some of these conditions conditions are far more distressing to patients than the active skin conditions themselves. Another reason why I'm doing this is because there has been so much new information put out there by various skincare companies, and honestly, I don't even know if all this information is true or just another marketing ploy. There is so much noise out there, and it's so hard to discern what is true and what is fake. And so from this course, I hope to be able to get some critical thinking going on in my head when deciphering a new product or treatment, and hopefully I can pass it on to my patients when I see them in clinic. And finally, let's talk about this YouTube channel that has been pretty dead for the longest time. And this is probably where some of you might be like, finally Chris, like finally you've decided to address this problem. So here are my thoughts. I'm actually thinking of revamping the whole channel, giving it a new lease of life with maybe a new channel banner, a new profile picture. I know it's been long overdue. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I'll be posting more regularly, say on a weekly basis. And I think one of the reasons why I've not been posting so consistently is because of the hurdles, mainly internal barriers that I put for myself. I think the plan going forward is to strip it down into the bare minimum, to remove all the faff with editing and the indecisiveness that I sometimes get caught up with. Because honestly, sometimes I spend hours just thinking of the next transition slide, and that's just not productive. When I recently went to the annual Dermatology BAD conference in Glasgow, I was actually pleasantly surprised when some of you came up to me saying that you loved my vlogs, which I thought they were pretty boring to me, but you guys found it really interesting and educational and quite real. And so I'm hoping to introduce more of that, perhaps making it a little bit more spicy or interesting for you guys. And of course, I will continue to make more dermatology self-help videos, because that's actually something that I started doing when I first started my channel. I'm actually in the process of creating an online prep course as well as an online community platform where everyone can share their resources with one another in order to help each other get into training. I hope by doing that, I can make getting into dermatology more fair and equitable for everyone, no matter their experience and location. Because honestly, when I was trying to get into dermatology, it can feel quite gatekeepy at times, especially if you've never done dermatology, you don't know anybody in the field, and it can be quite a daunting process. At the same time, the vibe of the channel will be pivoted towards learning about dermatology conditions and various skincare advice that I wish I knew when starting out. And so these would be things that I see on a daily basis, including talking a little bit about Mohs surgery, skin cancer surgery, as well as some aesthetic stuff that I'm learning in the aesthetic course. The plan is to provide free, transparent, evidence-based advice to anyone who may not be fortunate enough to see a dermatologist. Because let's be honest, in the UK, the NHS waiting time to see a dermatologist is pretty long. And so if I'm able to help even just one person deal with their skin condition, I will be super happy about it. Now, for those of you who are interested in dermatology and would like to apply for training in the UK, here are some of the advice or tips that I have gathered based on my own personal experience from training in dermatology over the past 4 years. The first advice I would give is not to give up and keep trying and trying and trying. Do a taste a week, a taste a day or two, and reach out to as many people as you can by sending cold emails, asking to do projects in order to build up your CV. You might not get the response you want, but just keep trying and reach out to different people, because one day you would find someone who is willing to help you and give you the project that you need in order to get enough points to get into dermatology. The other thing that I realized through my training is that learning doesn't stop even when you complete your training. There are always new things to learn, be it a new condition, treatments, and at the moment we are so fortunate in dermatology that there has been a huge explosion of new therapies for different conditions. I would say don't be in such a rush to complete your training, because learning doesn't stop. Try to treasure your time as a trainee, because this is the time when you can ask people for advice and you get the support that you need as part of your training. Because once you finish your training, you are out there alone doing clinics by yourself. Of course, you can still ask people, your fellow consultants, about difficult patients through clinical meetings, but you can't afford to ask them for every single patient that you see. The next piece piece of advice I would give is to learn to collaborate and work together with your peers. Instead of viewing them as your competitors, try to make friends and work together to achieve the same goal. Essentially, we are all in this together, and dermatology is quite a small specialty, so you tend to see the same faces. So I would highly encourage you to keep in touch with other people who are also equally applying for training and try to make the journey more fun. And this is essentially what I did before I got into dermatology, and even during my training itself. I worked together with my colleagues on projects, and that helped to reduce the amount of work I needed to put in to achieve the same outcome. I also did interview prep together with my friends, which made it more fun and less boring. During the SE exam as well, I still remembered we had small group discussions, and one of our friends actually shared how she remembered things by creating mind maps and beautiful pictures and stories in order to make things stick in her mind. And actually, having small group discussions, talking about difficult topics, made me remember things better compared to reading from textbooks alone. The last bit of advice I would give is to be kind to yourself and to others around you. Life can sometimes get in the way, and you may not be successful all the time. I think we all need to give ourselves the permission to relax, take a break, and not to fret if things don't go as planned. It's completely okay for us to fail and not succeed, and it's something that we need to normalize because things just don't go as planned, and to treat every mistake or failure as a learning experience and to get back up once more. To tell you the truth, I've had so many failed attempts in examinations and interviews that it sort of became a bit numbing now, which sounds rather depressing but also liberating in a way. I think for me, as long as you work hard for what you want, you should be proud of your achievements and not worry about what comes next. Coming from an Asian background and household, I have to say it's very difficult for me to think that way. And sometimes I feel that I was too hard on myself in the past and should have been kinder to myself, because if I'm not kind to myself, no one else will be. And remember to be kind to people around you as well. You never know what will come back in the future. People actually remember what you do or not do for them at work. I've been fortunate enough to encounter super friendly, lovely consultant colleagues who I can call my mentor. These are colleagues that would give their patients their all and not be fussed when their juniors call upon them for help. And it's something that I want to become in the future. It doesn't matter how good you are clinically, because patients and staff around you will remember you because of how you treat them. Don't be mean, because there's enough meanness and sadness in the world as it is. So on a brighter note, that's basically where I am right now. It feels quite surreal talking about this, and I have to say I was a little bit anxious about making this video, because the last thing I want is to feel like I'm a show-off, stuck up, patronizing, because that's not what this video is all about. I hope that from sharing my experiences, you can be inspired and do the same, because if I can do it, so can you. As I've always said, I'm not the brightest student in my class. I'm not the smartest dermatologist out there. If what I'm saying resonates with you, please do like this video and comment in the box below. It means a lot to me. Also, if you have any comments or suggestions on future video ideas that you think I should be making, please comment in the comment box below. I genuinely read all of them, but I'm terrible at replying, so please forgive me if I've not responded to your messages. Thank you so much for liking my videos and sticking around even when I've been quite inconsistent with publishing my videos. And if you want to keep up to date with my short form videos, I do post them on YouTube, but also on Instagram, where I'm trying to be more active there as well. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you really soon. Bye!